Hello, Integrity family. Thanks so much for joining today's Inspired Podcast. I'm so excited to introduce you to some amazing people who are doing some incredible things in our business. And I'm incredibly excited to welcome Clarissa Gonzalez and Eric Fierro from CDA Insurance Solutions. They're based out of Roma, Texas, which is on the border of Texas and Mexico. And they're doing some incredible things to serve the underserved population there, of making sure that they get the best health care that they can. And so thank you guys for joining. I'm so excited to have you guys joining the Inspired Podcast. I'm so excited. I've known Eric for a long time, for many years, back when I had more hair and you had less. It's kind of funny. You now got the bun thing going. I've lost some. Now you grew up in South Texas. I grew up in West Texas.
On the border.
And you're on the border.
I'm right on the border.
And in Roma, Texas is between, it's like McAllen and Laredo, right?
Correct.
So my mother-in-law grew up in McAllen. So that's where every year my wife would go back to McAllen, and they always talk about, so we were just talking about this for the holidays. What do you guys have for Christmas meal?
Well, because December usually is like hunting season, like for whitetail deer, we usually have like deer tamales.
Deer tamales?
Yes.
So I've never heard of
It's like
deer
a mixture
tamales.
of pork and deer, right? But it's tamales.
So I grew up in a small town in West Texas, predominantly Hispanic, and we had a lot of tamales. In fact, it was just a big thing that we always had, but it was always pork. I never heard of deer.
Yes.
Tamales.
We have a very large
Do they
deer
taste different?
Oh, amazing.
I
love
bet it'd be
it. I'm just like waiting for hunting season to start, so one of my friends that goes hunting can bring me back a deer leg, so we can make it into tamales. That
is interesting. I've never heard of that. So every Christmas, my mother-in-law serves tamales. Like that's what we every Christmas. My family, we have like turkey dressing. It's like Thanksgiving dinner all over again. But in my in-laws, it's tamales. And they all make fun of me because I put ketchup on them. Have you ever tried ketchup on them?
I don't want to even imagine it.
Dude, have you ever tried?
Would you put mustard on it?
Maybe. I might. I could try that.
You know, there's a big like fight within the people saying, okay, would you take ketchup or not ketchup on your tamales? And it's just not right.
So they put ketchup, and then my father-in-law puts like chili, like
a hormone chili?
Like Frito pie chili.
Yeah,
oh.
Like chili.
See, you're turning your tamales into corn dogs.
And maybe that's what it is. And then my mother-in-law, she's like very traditional. It's salsa. Like it's more like salsa. But it is it's kind of always this funny thing that we talk about is, you know, like they make fun of me because
the best thing tamales on the grill, and you make them crispy. And
I've never had it.
Amazing.
So you take the corn.
You take the corn husk, yes, and you just put them on the grill on a flat pan and just toast them a little bit on both sides.
Amazing.
It's really delicious.
Everything tastes better grilled.
I gotta try that next
delicious.
time.
You'll thank me.
So my mother-in-law is super. I shouldn't say this because I hope she's not watching. Or my wife watching. My mother-in-law is very like health conscious. Everything's all natural type stuff, and I'm not that health conscious. And so if you go to her house, she's got like some weird brand of organic ketchup. So this last year I brought my own.
You brought your own Heinz.
I brought Heinz, bro.
Yeah, baby.
And not that Simply stuff. Like
how do they make tamales without the lard?
I don't know how they make them, but
if she's health conscious, you can't equate tamales with health.
I don't know. That's a good point.
I hope she's not watching. Now she ain't gonna like you.
So people don't like. Listen, we're going all in here. So I raised pigs in high school, and all growing up I had pigs, and we would get lard in like 5-gallon buckets as part of like processing a pig, and it was amazing how we used to cook with lard. The white is like Crisco days, right?
Yeah.
Nobody uses that very much anymore, do they? I guess for making
tamales and tortillas. Well, no, tortillas is vegetable lard.
Really?
Yeah, but pork lard is for the tamales. You can't have tamales without pork lard.
That is so interesting. I gotta
call
you brought me back to those days. Now, both of you guys have been so successful, and in the insurance business, I've known you since, you know, from back in the day. In fact, you were one of the first guys whenever we were talking about integrity that we started meeting with. But you started out as a news anchor and in the news reporting world. Tell us about that.
Well, I went to school for chemistry and communications, and my very first job was as a news reporter and anchor for CBS in Laredo, Texas. And my job was the court beat and the police beat.
Really?
So I was all over the riverbanks and all over the places when they had drug busts. I mean, I was out there right in the middle of crime land in Laredo,
busy.
Texas. Yes.
That area is busy.
Yes, very busy.
That's a nice way to put it.
It was a really good job, like experience-wise.
Yeah.
And it opened up my eyes to, everything that I could do as far as, with media. Media controls, you have the power.
So that had to be interesting. So you were like in the field reporting. So
Yes.
there was a drug bust, which I mean, I just watched Narcos Mexico, and I mean, some of have y'all watched Narcos?
I watched the first season,
dude,
when it was Pablo Escobar. Yeah.
Oh, so it's all follows the Colombian side, and then goes to Narcos Mexico, and they tie them all together. It's spectacular. It's a great show. It's bloody. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it kind of follows a lot of that. So you had so much that you had to be covering all the time with a lot of different things. And then today there's a lot of challenges going on that we all read about. So that has to be super interesting, especially with your background. So what was that like to go in and go? Man, you had to be dropped into just an interesting situation. How much time would you have to say, we're going to go report on this issue?
Well, we were given assignments in the morning. We have a morning meeting. You're giving your assignments, and then you go off. And then things happen during the day that obviously are not planned. So you're waiting for that moment, like for whenever, because we would hear the scanner, the police scanner. They were still not encrypted back then, and so you would hear like, oh, there's a drug bust, and everything's over the scanner. So you're having to go, okay, let's get over there, and you just have to be there because if you're not there on time, well, you miss the whole story. My cameraman guy would have a thing where it's like he would actually show up and film the police and the ambulance arriving to the scene. That was his thing.
Y'all were there before?
You
were there before the police?
Yes. And there was this one time, and this is one time I remember that we got to the scene of a shooting, and we're going, and he's got his camera, and I'm right behind him, and all of a sudden it's like I'm holding the scanner, and all of a sudden it says, stand back, there's still shots being fired. And I'm like, oh, and I'm running back to the truck, and you hear, tack, 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 tack. It's amazing. It's great.
That's an adrenaline rush.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That had to be intense.
So
what was the most fun thing about being on the news like that?
Well, I think the thing is that when you're there and you're giving the news, the people that are watching you, they feel like they know you.
Yeah.
So when you're out in the street or when you're out doing a community event for school, all the little kids will come up to you and they're like, hey, like you're their friend. Because
that's so true.
Have you ever watched TV and watched something, you're like, oh, you feel like your connection with somebody. So I think that's like the most important thing to me, the connection that you have with people when you're in front of a camera.
Yeah, that is so true. And it's interesting. Like we've been on the news a couple of times that got interviewed. My son and I were on the news over the holidays with a toy drive. And then you watch it later, you watch it and you're like, oh, we were right there and we met her. She was so nice to Asher and all that type of stuff. So you feel like you know them even though you're only with them for a few minutes, which is incredible. Now, how did you get in the Medicare space?
Well, about that. So I actually left the Laredo and went into Corpus Christi, and I went into radio and I did a television show at KTMV, and so which is a Corpus Christi local station. And then I ended up getting my insurance license, and my mom was like, "Look, they're hiring at this company as a call center." And all it was Medicare Advantage. We were on the phone. We were licensed in 9 states selling insurance when there was actually no real regulation back in the day.
Yeah.
So that's where I started.
Yeah, listen, we've come a long ways now, and I'm actually thankful for the regulation we've got today because it provides better consumer protection, and we're able to serve so many more people than back in those days. How'd you end up going out on your own?
Well, we were not selling in Corpus Christi, Texas. It was not in Corpus. We were actually like in a call center in Corpus Christi, but we were calling out. So eventually, we figured that we could sell it in San Antonio, and that we were only getting paid very, very little in the call centers back in the day. So then we got together and said, hey, maybe we can just become agents and go and drive up to San Antonio, which is like an hour and a half drive, and sell it over there. And that's how we ended up doing it.
That's awesome.
We started looking for someone to sell for. And that's when we found an SGA at the time. And we ended up driving every weekend to San Antonio.
Wow.
And then eventually Secure Horizons came into Corpus. We were already ready to sell. So
that's awesome. That is incredible. Yeah. So Eric, you and I got to know each other back in the day. Like we were talking about this, 2017.
Yeah.
Whenever we partnered with an incredible partner at Integrity, and you worked there. And I remember meeting with you, and you said, "Look, I want to go out on my own and start my own thing," and I'm so proud of what you've been able to accomplish. As I told you, I love watching you and your family and your little boy, and it's funny you talk about getting to like watching a celebrity and feel like you know them. It's kind of how I've been with Eric, because I've been watching a lot of his stuff on social media and also just like watching your family, and I've just been so happy for you. How's it been when you started your own business, and remind me how you got in the Medicare business to begin with?
So one of your partners, they're now a partner as well with Integrity. They were actually responsible for getting me into the game. So I've been friends with my buddy Tegre Moot for a very long time.
I love Tegre.
Since '99, and we hung out a lot after he'd get off work and I'd get off work. And he'd tell me all these stories about the things he was doing in Medicare. And I was just like, Medicare? Like, what do you do? You serve older people? Like, how is that fun? Like, let's get into marketing. Let's get into something real cool. But he's like, dude, it's a lot of fun. Like, we get to meet people all the time. We get to help people all the time. And I was like, that does sound kind of cool. And I was in a position where I just did not like what I was doing daily. So I asked him, I said, anytime there's an opportunity, let me know. And I want to try it out. And he said, okay. So one day he hit me up and he said, I have some leads that I'd like you to work. Since you already have a license, let's go ahead and get you trained up on Medicare. This new product called Medicare Advantage. This was back in '06. And he's like, let's get you trained up, and then have you calling leads. So every day I'd go to work. At lunchtime, I'd lock myself in my office. I'd make calls, set 2 appointments every afternoon or every evening, go out, hit up those appointments, and within about a month, I was making more part-time than I was full-time as a manager where I was working. I was a manager in charge of 20 people, and part-time was doing better and helping people and doing something I really, really enjoyed. I remember the first time I sat down at a kitchen table and I had this great conversation. She happened to be Salvadorian, like me. I'm part Salvadorian, part Mexican. So I immediately hit it off with her. We started talking about food and history and culture. And I just remember thinking, wow, she's actually teaching me stuff. I'm here to educate her, but she's actually teaching me stuff. And it was that moment where I said, I want to go all in on this. So I did that. And then around the same time, they actually offered me an opportunity to join them on the marketing team. And I said, well, getting to work with my best friend. Okay, that sounds great. As long as I'm allowed to still sell, because I really, really wanted to. And they said, no problem. So I joined the team. I started helping to recruit agents and train them on what I was doing as well. All the while continued selling. And I did that for the next 12 years up until you and I met.
Yeah.
And so, my evolution through that time, I learned a lot. I really wanted to be one of the innovators in the telesales space as well. So when '08 is really when it started to pick up steam, where we started helping to find carriers who would be more amicable to trying to figure out ways to do things telephonically. And as that success grew, I started finding other agents who were in the same boat, wanting to do the same thing. And then that led to me getting into the digital marketing space, which is also another passion of mine. So that basically is the history leading up to the time that I met with you.
Man, and then you went out on your own and created an incredible business. You guys have done so many great things. It's amazing you've been in the business that long. Like I didn't realize you've been in the business that long. I was telling somebody the other day, I was talking about some things, and I go, I started that almost 25 years ago, and they were like, "How long have you been doing this?" I know I look young, but no, I'm just
You
kidding.
did.
But
It's
no, but
done.
like it is amazing how time flies, and
Yeah.
some of the things that we get to do is pretty remarkable and impact people. Now, I know you guys also offer a lot of other services that are not just about Medicare plans. It's really helping people, almost like a social services center, as you guys like to tell us. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I live in a very underserved
Hmm.
part of the country. Stark County is one of the lowest grossing, where people, grows the lowest amount of income in the United States. Escobar, Texas, which is a city near where I live,
Yeah.
is ranked as the poorest city in the United States. So the educational level has to do a lot with it, especially in the older population, because a lot of them were taken out of school to go into the fields
Right.
to work with their families, and they never really got a chance. And so a lot of those folks come to our office seeking help for simple things is like, here's my mail. What's wrong? Like, tell me what it is. It's like, oh, this is your light bill. This is this is that. So we translate for them, we read for them, we educate them, and we make sure that they don't get taken advantage of. Because in today's age, answering a phone call can put them into a scam situation. And
Yeah.
so a lot of the time they rely on us for that. And we've been able to take that model and expand it into all of our offices across South Texas. We have 11 offices and partner offices
That's
that
amazing.
across South Texas that help not just with Medicare or insurance. We pretty much have become their voice,
Yeah.
and that's the way we see it, because we don't only help them apply for local or state or federal programs. We help them apply for pretty much everything. We make phone calls for them, and my staff has been chosen very, very careful. Why? Because I want to make sure that when people walk into our offices, that they're greeted with compassion and
Mhm.
understanding, because that is what is needed to deal with people in the underserved population.
Yeah.
Understanding that, knowing that, you know what, they didn't get the chance we got. And here we
Yeah.
are, these are our elders, and we're here to protect them.
Man, there's so much depth to what you're talking
Mhm.
about there. And so, I mean, I tell people this all the time. We're in a truly noble business,
Yes.
and everybody wins. And it's important for us to remember that in so many different ways. I grew up in a community that was all farming community out in West Texas, small town, got like 1,700 people there now. But it's all cotton farms.
Mm.
And there was a large migrant population that would come through, and really, especially through harvest season. It was back in the day. That's how it worked. And I remember growing up with this kid named Mario, and it was like kindergarten, and every all through elementary, Mario would come in, and we'd hang out during the fall, and then around Christmas time, he would go back home, and then you wouldn't see him in the springtime. And that would go on, and we'd be so excited when Mario would come back in the fall. And I remember when we went into junior high, we never saw Mario again. And I said, I remember asking one of our teachers, I was like, well, what happened? Why isn't Mario back? And they were like, well, he had to go, and now he's got to work for his family and provide. And people don't realize, I think about Mario all the time. And as you were thinking about that, I was thinking about, just like what impact his life had, just because, what he had to go through, because, he had to go and provide for his family at, 12 years old or something, which
Yeah.
is, we take so many things for granted that you're talking about. Yeah, it's
The
incredible.
majority of the people, and I was looking at our book of business in our clientele, 90% have low income subsidy
Yeah.
in our area, at least in Stark County, Hidalgo County, Webb County, which are the closest communities
Yeah, that
to
what
where
we call
we're
the I-10 corridor,
yeah,
anything in the, yeah.
adjacent to where we're at. And a lot of them have some type of Medicaid status, whether it be QMB, SLMB, QA1. It's very rare to have somebody walking in that has a higher income. Maybe the people that actually work for unions that would go from Roma to Michigan and work for the auto unions and what have you. There's very, very few in between that actually make decent retirement wages. You're looking at majority of the people at SSI levels and below. I mean, you see people and you're like, how? I would say, how, mamita? How do you do it? Like, how is it that you live on $300 a month? Like, how? Like, it's these type of folks that we go out and help and protect.
And that's where I'm so passionate about what we do, because we serve the middle market and down in a lot of ways. The people who need these products and services the most. And then like all the things you talked about and you just described doing, most people like don't realize you don't get paid for any of that. Like, like that is a community service that you're passionate about.
But we do get paid.
Well.
And he does.
Yeah.
And he does, because the word of mouth spreads, and they say, oh, you're having that problem? Then go to CDA Insurance Solutions. In Spanish is Centro de Ayuda, which is the help center, the assistance center.
I love that.
And so they'll go to Centro de Ayuda. They'll help you there. And I get chills saying that. We've built that brand so that way people can identify and know where they can go for help.
So we did this leadership academy with Tom Ziegler and the Zig Ziglar Corporation. One of my favorite things that Zig Ziglar said was, you can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's so much truth to that, just because I do believe you get blessed by living abundantly in a lot of ways. And I love, what you're talking about. And you guys serve especially a really underserved community in the Hispanic community, people I grew up with in so many ways that need support. And especially when you think about all of the acronyms you just mentioned, all the different, the Medicaid, all the different acronyms, that's hard to understand. It's hard for anybody to understand.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for people who, are kind of in that moment and haven't gone through a lot of things. And so it's so valuable what you guys offer. How did you get so passionate to do this as well?
So my dad is from Mexico, migrated here when he was about 10. My mom came from El Salvador. She came when she was 19. Same reasons that all of us want to come to America, right? That weren't born here, looking for a better way for their families.
Yeah.
And so I got to spend a lot of time back where my family's from. I got to see what it's like and how fortunate it is that I was born here and not there. And when you see that and you just see like how close that is and what a difference that makes, it makes you really passionate and really gives you that empathetic heart for people and say, wow, like I need to do what I can to help because I've been blessed. And to whom much is given, much is required. So that's kind of the mantra we try to live by. We see people that need help and we've experienced it ourselves. I grew up poor, for the first 15 years of my life. So I also understand what that feeling feels like. So I think all of that creates this desire in my heart to do what I can when I can. And it's one of the reasons I love Clarissa is because I see very much she has the same heart that I do. And that's, I think, why we're such a great partnership in that aspect.
Man, I'm so excited to partner with you for so many different reasons. It's great to reconnect on so many levels, but at Integrity, we've got 5 core values that we talk about all the time. In fact, they're up on the wall here. It's about integrity, about doing the right thing, even when nobody's looking, right? So when somebody comes in and says, what do these bills mean, right? Doing the right thing, having integrity with that. It's about serving families. These are families that need support. It's like what we do is truly take care of American families. It's about service. We're not a sales company. And I like to say that very proudly because whenever I figured out the sales are a byproduct, that's a byproduct. If you serve enough people, you take care of all those, the sales take care of themselves. And we're so aligned there. It's about respect, about treating people the way that God created them, regardless of their circumstances, trying to treat them the right way. And then it's about partnership. And that's really what this partnership has done and the partnerships you guys have in the communities. And now as a partner at Integrity, we have the opportunity to live out our core values in a different way, in a better way, by serving even more people that need us And with our technology support, resources, all the different things we offer, we're so excited to be able to partner with you guys. And so what are y'all most excited about now partnering with Integrity?
I think for me is the opportunity of being able to grow, not just the agency, but our goal, which is to help.
Yeah.
You know, we expand, and we expand not just to sell insurance. We expand to help. And I think one of the things that Eric says resonates a lot with me. We've been blessed, and we want to turn around and help those that are in those situations. Because if you think about it, these folks are, the majority of them are either disabled or retired. The people that we deal with are either disabled or retired. And at that point in their life, they're no longer able to earn any more. So here we are finding opportunities, whether it be from other programs that are designed inside the Medicare Advantage plans or other programs that are available in the community, to allow them to live a better quality of life, to have additional resources that they didn't have before they met us. We want to be a plus in their life. So if we keep doing that across not just Texas, but across, the goal is across the nation to show compassion nationwide. I think that's huge for us.
That's awesome.
And Eric, when I came up to, I've known Eric probably as long as I've known Tegrate, since 2006, 2005.
Yeah.
You know, it's like since early on in our careers. I said, you know, when we met again like several years ago, and I said, I think we can do this, because with your platform and what we do, we can take this and make it bigger.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And now with Integrity, we can make it even bigger.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think one of the really exciting things, so when I decided to go off on my own, I got even heavier into technology and started working with the CRM platform, automations, currently with AI. I'm excited just seeing what you guys are doing on the tech side. I'm excited to see everything you got going on with AI. I'm excited with, you know, what I got to see behind the scenes here, because again, it's not just excited for the purpose of being excited. It's because I know that these tools are the tools we need to help not only our consumers, to reach more consumers, but help agents as well. Because the more agents we can help and teach them our platform, teach them what we do, then in turn, the more people they can help. So it just multiplies in many different directions. And that's one of the amazing, exciting things that I'm pumped for with Integrity.
And we're excited to learn from you guys. We're excited to learn, like, how can we do more? How can we expand?
And that's the thing I was telling Eric. I was like, you know, in our day and age, technology is super important. And I told Eric, you know what? My 92-year-old aunt followed me on TikTok.
What?
Yes. And I said, TikTok, out of all places, I said, we need to focus and on our digital footprint, you know, and reach out, because my 92-year-old aunt is on TikTok.
Dude, my dad, like over the holidays, my dad's like on Facebook, like scrolling up, and I'm like, hey Dad, like, you want to hang out with us for a minute? He's 79. I'm like, what are you doing on Facebook?
He's hooked. He's getting that dopamine hit. That's
well, he's hilarious, because he'll see a message. He'll like, oh, look at this message they just sent me. And I'm like, I don't think they sent it to you, but whatever you want to think. But he thinks it's like a text message to him. But no, look, I mean, we all need to get better at that. We need to advance and reach people wherever they want to be served. And so, man, thank you guys for what you're doing. We're so excited to partner. I think it's interesting. You were talking about kind of being a celebrity in your local area, as when you were on the news and people recognizing you, and now people recognize you because of serving them, and how much more impactful that is generationally than just reporting the news. You're making the headlines now, and so thank you guys for partnering with us. We're so excited.
Thank you. We're excited.
Anything we can do to help you, we're super excited. Listen, I think coming back to the point that, like, we're serving an underserved market, people who really need these products and services, people like my mom and dad, people, the people that they're in their communities that they're serving, like, these are real people that need these products. And by coming together, we can do so much more. And so keep doing what you're doing. We serve a noble cause and really helping people, especially in some of the most important days of their lives. And so I'm so proud of where we're going. I can't wait to see where we go from here with you guys as part of it. God bless you. Have a great week.